In this video, I'm going to explain how fly cruises work, what they're really like, and run through how much they actually cost. My cruise was on P&O Azura to the Canaries and Madeira, but other cruises will work in a similar way. And this was in February, which was great for a warmer weather cruise to escape the British winter. And it did feel a little weird at the start to go to an airport to get on a ship, but that's all part and parcel of a package fly cruise holiday. Flew from London Gatwick, but you could also fly from Belfast, Birmingham, Bournemouth, Bristol, Cardiff, East Midlands, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Manchester and Newcastle. We flew with TUI, there wasn't any ability to pre-book your seat, it was all sorted out at the airport. The flight was good. When we got to Tenerife, it was a case of going through passport control and collecting our luggage. Once through the airport, a P&O representative will show you where your coach is, which will take you from the airport to the ship. This will take about 50 minutes and is included within the price of your holiday. And another good point is that you'll next see your luggage outside of your cabin. And once at the port, it's just a case of going through security again, collecting your cruise card and getting on board the ship. I had an ocean view cabin on deck 4, which was the perfect size for 2 people. Depending on your budget, you can go cheaper than this and have an inside cabin, or if you want to spend some more, go for a balcony or even a suite. The cabin was a little dated, like there was no USBs and the TV was small. However, it was perfectly clean and in a great location. I've done a full tour of this cabin and I'll leave a link here so you can check that out too. And now I'm going to take you on a whistle-stop tour around the ship to check out the pools, the bars, the restaurants, the entertainment and everything else on board. There are 5 pools on board Azura. This is the adult-only Oasis pool. There are 2 main pools. This is the Coral Pool and this is the Aqua Pool, and each pool has their own bar. At the very rear of the ship is the Terrace Pool, which also has a bar. And finally there's the Kids Pool, which unsurprisingly doesn't have a bar. And now let's go check out the other bars on the ship. This is the Beachcomber Bar, very popular on sea days. And this is the more chilled out Planet Bar, which features a pianist each evening playing some classical tunes. This is the Ollie Smith curated Glass House. A great place to get some wine and the best beers on board the ship. The P&O exclusive Jolly Ollie. Even during the evenings, there was one of the quieter bars on the ship. This was a nice place to come and chill out, even in the evenings. And where you won't be chilling out in the evenings is the raucous Brody's. This place will be packed from early evening until the early hours. From live music, quizzes and sports on TV, there's always something going on here. The Manor Bar is a more sophisticated fare, which usually had quizzes during the day and music in the evenings. The Manhattan Bar has things like bingo during the afternoons and features comedians and singers into the late hours. There are golf nets and a ball court for those people wishing to be active while they're on their cruise. And there's a good sized gym with a variety of equipment. And there are spa treatments for those wishing to pamper themselves while on board. There is a small casino on board which can get very lively, especially later into the evenings. With a choice of slot machines and table games. And if retail therapy is more your thing, there are plenty of shops to choose from. For those with children, there are kids clubs for all ages, with a wide variety of activities to keep them occupied during the cruise. And speaking to parents, I only heard good things about the kids clubs. And now we come to the restaurants and the all-important topic of cruise food. I'll start with some of the specialty dining options, which do cost a little extra, but it's not exactly going to break the bank. This is the amazing Sindhu. If you enjoy Indian cuisine, I cannot recommend this highly enough. The food here is incredible. And this worked out to be £40. Next up is the beach house. There is a £9.50 cover charge here, although some of the items do have an additional charge, such as the surf and turf, which was well worth the money. And the desserts here are absolutely fabulous, and was well worth the £40 we paid for this. And we also had a fabulous afternoon tea at the Epicurean, which cost £35. And now I'll move on to the complimentary options, as these are included within your cruise fare. Starting with the buffet, which unfortunately I have to report is pretty average on board Azura. Expect long lines, limited choice of hot food, and the food itself is so-so. And if you enjoy your specialty coffees and cakes, you can get them at the Java Cafe. Although free tea and coffee is available all day in the buffet. However, the main dining rooms redeemed any issues I had with the buffet. The food here was generally very good. And just as importantly, the service here was excellent. And especially the breakfast, which was a nice relaxed way to start the day. And on sea days, don't miss out on the main dining room lunch. This was just another place to avoid the hustle and bustle. There are usually 2 formal nights on a 7-night cruise. And the vast majority of people put the effort in to dress up. And don't forget to grab your complimentary glass of fizz. And there will be an enhanced menu in the main dining rooms this evening. So this really isn't the evening for you to go and spend some money on a specialty dining option. And again, the food this evening was really, really good. Especially the turbot. You don't get to see that on a menu very often. And there are also complimentary dining options around the pool areas too, where you can grab quick bites like pizzas, burgers and hot dog. The only slightly disappointing part of our cruise was the entertainment. And I'm not saying that it was bad or any reflection on those people performing, however I did feel that it was a little bit dated. Each evening in the theatre there would either be a singer or a musical, which were usually just okay. And I guess like most things, entertainment is subjective. And I have no doubt that there were people on board that absolutely loved it. It was definitely a case of horses for courses. And this cruise was centred around 4 different ports. And the first of these is Santa Cruz in Tenerife. Azura has 2 boarding days, a Friday and the Saturday, for the ship departs on Saturday evening. So depending on which day you fly, you'll have a day in port either on the first or the last day of your holiday. And Santa Cruz is a bustling town, with lots of shops, cafes and restaurants to check out. And as you'll be staying a night in port, you can check out the nightlife too. I felt that Santa Cruz was a great place to start our week in the sun. The second port was Madeira, which is part of Portugal, and was the number 1 reason why we chose to do this particular cruise. We booked the cable car and toboggan excursion through P&O. It cost £59 per person and included all the transfers to and from the ship. You can book it yourself if you want to save a few pounds. But either way, this is one of the must-dos of Madeira. However, if this isn't for you, you can always spend your time wandering around Funchal. It's a very picturesque place and there are plenty of things to check out. Such as the street with all the painted doors, which is so colourful. Or you can head into one of the many bars and cafes here, or just walk along the harbour. Don't forget to be either on your balcony or up on deck so you can witness this beautiful sail away. And after a day at sea, it's back to the Canaries and the amazing island of La Palma. It wasn't a particularly busy place, and this cobbled street was where most of the shops and restaurants were. It was just a great place to get out and have a bit of a mooch around. And my highlight from La Palma was this amazing black sand beach. Never seen anything like this before. And the fourth and final port was Fuerteventura. And here we were in the town of Puerto de Rosario. And this was by some measure the quietest of the 4 places we visited. It was a great way to spend a couple of hours wandering around the town. The beach here was beautiful golden sand, which was a big change from the previous day's black sand beach. So if you wanted just to lay back and catch some rays, this is the ideal place to do that. And now that I've shown what a week-long Canaries and Madeira cruise is like, it's time to talk about the cost. Our ocean view cabin was £600 each, and the 3 specialty dining restaurants were £115. The cable car and toboggan ride was another £118. Drinks on the ship worked out to be £335, which worked out to be less than £24 per person per day. We spent £30 in the casino, although we did get a free drink, and £90 in the ports on drinks, snacks and souvenirs. The complete cost for 2 people was £1,888, which worked out to be less than £135 per person per day, which I thought was a really good deal considering how much we got. What did you think of this? Do you think this was a good price? And let me know in the comments below. Many thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on.